Well, this is Meningioma Journal, or Meningioma Journal 1. It started out as Meningioma Diary and was going to be a record of my thoughts, but it turned into poetry. My original diagnosis was a benign meningioma, and it turned into a glioblastoma. So wound up. Too hard. Yep. I'll be all right. Number 30, Yellow Roses. It got harder. Man, I'm just not expecting to relive that. I was lying in my recovery bed at the hospital, and not sleeping, was having thoughts, and I decided I better write them down or I wouldn't remember them. They got longer and longer. Life had been compacted so much that these things were coming fast and furious. This has been the most productive artistic time of my life. And I think that they're pretty good work, and I'm pleased with them. I think they're pretty good art. Number 1, I think. I am a gay man. Gay men die earlier on average. Therefore, I am a gay man. God is an asshole. Number 2, state your name. I. State your name. I am nobody at all. This is what passes for Buddhist humorist poetry. Number 3, tell the truth. Tell the truth, the great truth of life, that it ends for all. Those astrophysicists just don't understand anything. Number 4, why worry? Don't concern yourself too much, nurse, with the spelling of my name. There has only ever been just one Mark RITZENHEIN in this world. Number 5, pardon me. Might I have this? Might I have that? Why don't you end your all-night self-vigil? Number 6, nuts. You have some squirrely ideas, you have, what with your frantic stashing of nuts here and there. You forget where half of them are stored, so what good does it do you to plan so far ahead, always believing in the spring to come? Number 7, gumball machine. 1 jawbreaker. Okay, always more than enough. Who said you needed to spit out one after another on your sped up production line? Gumball meaning tumor. Number 8, ha. Pulse is strong, carotids clear, lungs at full capacity. It worked. I actually cheated death. Number 9, massages. Lay back and relax while the BP cuff swells and constricts, then releases slowly in a stepwise series of pulses and clicks. The heart still beats, initially slow and ponderous, then too quick, then too slow again, but less so, then normally at last. Next, the left leg is treated to a 3-part shoving of stagnating blood back up the big vein, soon followed by the right. It's like an oriental spa, found beside the highway exit, but without the robotic tits, which I have no need for anyway. This is number 10. Patience. I have always been the most cooperative patient. The barber, the dentist, the nurse, and the surgeon all say so. The sister's girlfriend, a babysitter, not a squeeze, agreed with this, a too big baby still at age 5. Tolerant to a fault, I've long thought, always ready and willing to accommodate other agendas, even this one, so it seems. Number 11, Mr. Foley, present. There it lies, a threat to no one, rubber tubing shoved down its own throat for a change. Take that, you prick. Nurses and aides of any gender attend to practical needs without further regard. I offer my regrets, wishing I could do more. Number 12, November 30th, 2011. I've lived to see the winter snows once again obscure the land, wet and heavy like the dire ice storming of March 30 years and more ago. Last night, the 29th, the lights in our home flickered twice, but remained aglow. Now my own lights flickered twice, once benign and then not so. Today or tomorrow I learn for certain when and how long they remain for me, long blue flames from Buddha's fingers in the veil of old music, melting snow. Number 13, milestones, 6:30 a.m. Grade 4 or 5 gliomas kill you after the chemo no longer works. 30 years together, 20 years at Olivet, 32 years out proud, 6 years serving on a tug, 10 walks in the wilderness of life caught on film. Number 14. Wait, don't tell me. I've had this dream before, oddly, and it recurred again. The whole WWDTM gang is here, in this bed with me, tossing and turning, tangling the sheets, sleeping on the sore spot on the back of my head, farting Parmesan cheese, wondering about diarrhea and the rebounding tingling and numbness in my once again useless arm. Moderator Carl Castle, host Peter Segal, panelist Paula Poundstone, and guest Jeopardy star player and author of the book Maphead, Ken Jennings, all roll around in the bed with me for the 3rd or 4th time in an endless round of wait, don't tell me, while I wonder what the final answer really is and whether I finally have gotten all the questions correct. Who am I? Where am I going? And why are we here? Number 15, glioblastoma. Glioblastoma. Fuck you, word. 16, zipperhead. It's tactile and real, felt of with the left hand, while the right buzzes numbly and uselessly knocks things over on the portable hospital table. Like the pill cup already emptied of its Tylenol 3 codeine tablets that take the edge off of my tender and sore zipperhead. The turban's gone at 4:30, maybe. I no longer feel like Tyrone Power in some dolled-up Great War silent epic. Or maybe it's Sunset Boulevard and I crawl around on the floor like a disheveled Norma Desmond, trying to get the paste ruby to stick again in the off-center folds of my turbaned bandage. God, you're a mess. 17, dove in the blinds. I catch a glimpse of the dove of peace, some sorry-ass pigeon that got itself lost from the rest of its flock, and somehow stuck in the folded blinds of my hospital window. The blinds fixed between two panes of poorly sealed glass that seemed to flap around in the cold outside air. So it is conceivable that the dove of peace could have got itself stuck in there. But that was last night and tonight as well. This afternoon I realized that it was just the recessed ceiling light on its dimmer switch There is no dove of peace. Number 18. Bill! 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 Hey! Hey! The old duffer next door keeps calling out tonight, as well as last night. I wish the nurse could shut him up. The lights in his rooms are left on and annoy me with their presence. The mystifying window between our two rooms. The blinds don't quite reach the bottom or side, so I feel like a turbaned paranoid this afternoon, trying to steal a look at the strangers stealing looks at me. Is my turban on straight? When do I take off this fucking embarrassing bandage? I hate making a spectacle of myself while this old fucker calls out, Bill! Bill! As if he's entitled to disturb me, his wife, the nurses, and the whole fucking world. Yesterday a man moaned out loud every hour or so, crying for his lost soul. He lost it inside his own head. This is the neuro ward where everyone loses his head. Was it the gunshot case I heard rumors about? They usually don't do so well, Karen the nurse confided in me. I confided to her that I had nowhere to hide and no one could find their way out of this situation. Don't bother calling for Bill. Number 19. Sleep. Blessed sleep. I made it to midnight, or was it 12:47? The red numbers count off the minutes like an oversized version of my bedside alarm clock in my Olivet apartment. Wake me up to check my vitals. Wake me up to look for Bill. Wake me up to hear the massage bed bump and grind through its relaxing course. Are the words so important as to keep me awake? Number 20. What are your plans? Stephen asked me about my plans. Reminds me that I have to settle my estate. Suggests that my siblings might come up and take things over. To hell with hell, he's supposed to be my spouse, in his own head, too. I hate the law and the MFers who still step on my neck. I told him that I've already thought about it and wrote it out on the envelope flap of Kathleen's card. We can deal with it at home. I can deal with everything at home. No one is going to come in and yank what's left of me away from him. 21. Gary Shapiro. Gary Shapiro calls at 7:30 or 8 p.m. It's Stephen's cell phone. I missed the technology after 2 days in my NICU cell, even though I don't much care for it any other time. Did that goddamn cell phone do me in? Dr. Bill says not likely. They just don't know what does me in. But it starts with glio and ends with shit. Gary Shapiro is an oncologist who knows, he says, lots of people who live with this. I lay in bed and decided to talk to him. I want to grasp at the straws he offers to Steve by way of technology, which I overhear in my proximity to the conversation. Everything keeps changing. Everything. Number 22, Delta College. In accounting class, the old bag told us that a business was considered an ongoing enterprise until it wasn't. Like a sudden death, you are, and then you are not. My enterprises are at an end. I have to draw double lines under each entry, close out my own books, determine if there is any residual value, place a value on my own goodwill, find a buyer for the rest. Number 23, gas bag. Gas bag, wipe your ass. You smell pretty ripe. 3 days without a bath. The stool softener and the Parmesan cheese make a farting machine out of my ass. Blowing loud puffs of brown smelling smoke under the sheets. My boxers are shit glued to my crack. You think I'm rude? Try being the nurse who has to put up with your shitty ass. Number 24, winter storm. We pull out of the garage at 5:02 a.m., 7 inches of snow on the street, and drive. Stephen's VW SUV clears the deck of snow that would have stranded me in the Audi. The main roads have been plowed by the county, despite its back being broken by the economic slump. Plowed just for me, for us, to take me to the surgeon's knife and find out that it's no benign meningioma, but rather something else. Hours later, the next day, too, I stare at the snow-laden ground in the sodium vapor glow through the blinded hospital window, next to nearby Eastern High School, wondering how cold it is and how it got here. Number 25, Meningioma Journal. Somebody mislabeled it. Number 26, Rebound. As the mass of ice receded towards Ultima Thule, the landscape sprang upward in a geological process of rebound. With the removal of the icy mass in the offended brain, the right arm springs back to numbness and tingling, 2 for 1, and everything is cool to the unknowing touch. Unlike the hinging land masses, the face sags in recognition of its sad plight rather than lifting itself. My pissed-on gown dries itself out, but I still cannot tell whether or not I've raised my skirt high enough. Number 27, 23 Skidoo. Stephen tells me that he's already counted the staples on my head. There are exactly 23 of them. Matter-of-factly, he said. I think that it's an HO scale model train track set. I've always wanted a model train running through my head. The retired doctor on a trip through Budapest 2004 looked at me and said, "Model trains, flags, and maps," with withering contempt, my hobbies. He'd made of himself a doctor, something important in the world. Why'd I only made of myself an overgrown child, frozen still in Toyland, according to him? An HO scale model railroad mapped out in steel staples upon my shaved and shorn back head now. I finally got my very own train track set. 28, Tellin'. I'm tellin' you the truth. I'm tellin' if it hurts. I'm tellin' it to John Wilkes Booth. I'm tellin' the entire goddamn truth to people who tell their lies all day just to make themselves get through it. I got staples in my scalp that tell the goddamn truth. I got dribbles of saliva running out my downturned mouth. I got a right hand numb and twitching, seizuring and frozen. Everything it touches is cool, weird, or missing. Telling you the truth. I got a cancer hole that's itching to tell the world the truth. The surgeon left a lacunal hole to tell the goddamn truth. 29, Lucius. Lucius, I don't want to share a strange 2-bedroom with you. You're sorry black ass looking for a place to chill out for a dialytic day or two. Last time someone I loved was in Sparrow Hospital, they put him in a room with your cousin fool, some user with a pain in his gut that could only be found with Dilaudid. And each time early, too. I'll lay my tired, scared, queer self on the bed right next to you because that's the only choice I've got left at 2:30 a.m. December 3rd, 2011 at Sparrow Hospital, step down, NICU. Number 30, Yellow Roses. I'm standing in the kitchen, ass naked, and the front doorbell. Damn. Okay. I'm standing in the kitchen, ass naked, and the front doorbell rings. I walk in the back of the house because I can't face anybody. It's Deb Nolan's sad voice. Stephen can pass out the hugs for me right now. I've just had the rest of my life excised through a 6-inch cut in my scalp. Dr. Bill stuck in his thumb and pulled out a wad of mislabeled neoplastic plum. Next, they're coming back for the plumbing. The yellow roses open up, all 12 of them. They're soapy fragrant and not anything like the sudden winter outside the door. 31. Thinking. I was sitting there thinking, they cut open your fucking skull and take out the fucking tumor, then screw on a titanium snowflake, and you can't get back to your business, and you can get back to your business in a month. Simple. But what really happens is that they cut open your fucking skull, take out the angry fucking malicious tumor that has doubled in size in 6 weeks, rooting around in the rest of your treasured prize of a self-cognizant organ and fucking it up with edema, screw on a titanium snowflake, staple your scalp back together, check in with you early Thursday morning to let you know you're a pain in the ass of their upcoming weekend downhill skiing in Colorado because you're a dead man anyway, and then leave you to yourself to suck up your own shock and tears. "32. Andy. Andy, hot, furry little Andy, gay PCT and pretty handy. I was thinking that you would make good enough arm candy, accompanying me on my spa runs to the bathroom. I wanted to flirt but not embarrass or shame you, so I teased you instead about your ripping the hairs off my wrist. One fast tear I advised, but you replied that the portal in my banged-up vein prevented you from not causing me pain. You suggested a full Brazilian instead. Tim laughed at this because he is the nurse. I thought he would kick you out of bed, but I'd let you in. But I didn't say it. To make up for the hurt, you dressed me in sweats, top, and pants. Tied my shoelaces and wheeled me down to Stephen waiting. I asked you how old you were, talking about ages. 43, you replied. Not bad for that stage. We talked of you were moving to Fort Laud or Columbia, South Carolina for your boyfriend's upcoming PA enrollment. I hope to see you again in better times, you said. As we rolled past the hallway to cancer and rad, I replied, it ain't gonna happen, and thought about dying. Step down NICU Saturday morning. "33. Closing my LinkedIn account. Why would you like to close your LinkedIn account? I have a duplicate account? No. I'm getting too many emails. Yeah. I am not getting any value from my membership. Check that one. I am using a different professional networking service. Nope, and not this one either. Other. I am dying of a fatal brain cancer. I unknowingly hit the 1 key and hold it down for over a minute with my unfeeling right pinky while writing this, flatlining my response. Then I delete all unnecessary ones. Number 34. Mark in the shorts. Everyone who knew me then seemed to remember the legs. I always thought they were too skinny or thin, unworthy of their fame. Mark in the shorts, Craig called me because I wore them all year long, even in the winter months, that first El Nino year, when January snows amounted to little more than hard sleet, pecking at the brown grass lawns of MSU in the midst of non-existent winter. Now I hear from old acquaintances long moved on, but Facebook friends, about the legs. It was the legs and not the pretty face I had that wagged their tongues and turned their heads. Ernest once said, about those legs, Mark, while I played tug-of-war with a dog named Riley, who loved me for how those legs tensed against his own canine agility. I'll do what I must to win the game. Legs, face, shorts, fame. My sinister ways. I cut my finger deep with an inappropriate too-little pocket knife 2 years ago and learned to wipe my dirty ass with a left-hand swipe. That I thought I'd keep such skill for life in case it came in need again. I'm a native-born tragedian. So here I sit with a useless hand. I think contempt of Sister Teresa, who glared at me at 5th grade prayers for my left-hand devil's sign of a cross. Take the wad of tissue paper, finish up with what I've issued, in the name of the Father, Son, and of the holy shit that I've issued. Number 36, chipped cup. Driving around Chicagoland like some crazy nut trying to perfect the imperfections of life, American style, by finding the perfect Japanese cups. Out northwest and then back down to Tokyo Rose Tagori's sorry little Jap knick-knack store that I buy the best I can get, two porcelain cups with pail inside so you can see what's up. Moldering orange scum are still somewhat clean. The woman wife at a Kagi restaurant got tired of me asking where they bought their perfect Zen teacups. Chicago, she finally spat out once, then started ignoring my further questioning. So we drove to Chicago. We drove everywhere on my fool's errand to find non-existent one-offs. The green one comes from Chicago's J-Town hardware store's basement closeouts. Now one blue one is chipped at the edge, a porcelain slip that met in the night with Steve's sink faucet. Shiny edge. I run around crazy on Monday to Olivet to my shop, the Pancake House on Saginaw. Saginaw? I forgot it was called Saginaw. Then 2 stops in Frandor. World Market quit the J-style marketing 2 years before that doesn't stop me. I still buy the weird, useless soap dish with the 2 drain holes to the countertop. I had rejected there then, yet I'll plug the holes with some permanent paraffin. Tuesday morning, junk store, just junk, with the strangest name and marketing game, but they suggested Bed Bath & Beyond. I hate giving plugs to commercial operations, but found the Diddy bag, okay. Steve can trade his chipped cup with me. Number 37, death. Death is but the end of the illusion of this world. Number 38, Meningioma Journal 2. I roll around in the bed restless. I cannot get comfortable regardless. Stephen wants the lights out because he's tired, didn't sleep last night. He had a nightmare the night before that, some long involved thing about Uncle High and the Second World War. I want my head under the pillow, not atop it. With the bug covers on them, they remained over-puffed up. I was told by some young man orderly back at the hospital that they like to keep neuro patients' heads elevated at 30 degrees or so. That's too high for me to sleep, but I worry about not keeping my head on top of my own fluffed-up pillow and do myself in with more cranial edema. I lay on my side, a sure sign of fatness. The staples are bugging me, so I roll and face Stephen with no satisfaction. I start getting hard and losing further opportunities to use it and screw, but Stephen is tired and wanted the lights out. I can't bug him now. I have fevered ideas and worry about meds. They've upped the dosages, and now I feel crazy. So I get up and wonder about hiding the scissors. Instead, go get back in bed. Read 2 wondrous messages from people I care for and who care for me. Write 5 more of these poems. Eat Kathleen's Koolorakia cookies. Number 39. Oops. A lacuna opens up. More than one, actually, but it cannot be helped. What is a numbering system anyway but some false arithmetic idol? I wonder why I am still here and reviewing these earlier fervent and desperate scribbles. Only reminds me of how much impressure I felt, not knowing, fearing, at a loss as to what will be and how it will all go. Turns out I was largely right about all that, and it turns out that the lacuna is found within the compression and condensation of my too busy and rapidly diminishing life. Number 40, an exhibition of masks. The MSU Museum presents an exhibition of masks. including photographs of chest armor and helmets from the Karolinska Institute's Dungeons of Radiotherapy, named for their anonymous owners, obviously chubby and cancerous, forced to become lonely, broken, sick, and onerous to themselves and all others. Stephen sends me into the clinical center to pick up the rest of my magic decadron. Lori says, "Hi, Mark." I ask if I know her. She can't keep from staring at my staples, which should be pulled out tomorrow. I am Death's punk boyfriend, walking around town scaring the crap out of everyone, wanting to flee across the open fields while townsfolk chase after me with pitchforks and torches. 41 Timelines and Talismans. 12:17 a.m., December 16th, 11. Friday again, but one whole week later. Man, a lot's happened in the week lately past, the week of Fridays. I'll name it at last. Timelines and talismans, black humor omens, the body collapses from age 50 onwards, joked Kathleen to me, to take edges off her own one. I've long thought my body decayed the day right around my 30th birthday, just overdone it with the last Free Press Marathon, leaving Jerry Moore alone for an hour in our condo, dying of AIDS, while I tried to prove my invincibility to myself, Steve and him, to the whole of humanity, to the jocks of my downfall in Saginaw St. Helens. I took up weaving in 2010, said it repeatedly. I don't have much time. Went to exhibit of curious masks sometime last summer, encountering Dr. Brewster, my former mouth plumber, of smiles, thinned hair, and all now bare forehead. Stared at the photos of plastic chest armor, jealous of those who experienced MRs, just for the novelty of it, mind you, whirling a magnetic good luck charm around you. But not in the head, know that. No, not that ever. Talismans supposedly good luck deliver. I gazed at Mika's crystal stone gifts, the blue flat glass that slips out of my grasp. The brown one is cracked. What kind of token still holds power like that? And apparently, since there are not... Number 42, the final victory of life and peace. To go out in a spark of light like blue flames of the Tao, flashing off the fingers of the holy performing spiritual music in the sunken garden grove of dogwoods and rhododendrons. The veil of lost sound still echoes with soft-stepped beats, wondrous blue light miracles of spirits in agreement with the electric world of universal peace. Memory of Tai Chi in basement hollow of old music house on MSU campus circa 1983. Basis for funeral service group. Number 43, my mother's gift. Finally, my mother's gift to me appears, not what I expected, sure, but one always there. Denial does not set you free, it only keeps you chained to fear. Number 44. Yeah, we got that. Staples in my head. Yeah, we got that. Why not use an easy button instead? Open me up twice? Not likely to happen. Once was bad enough. Twice brings no more hope in. From a theme from a Staples office supply advertising campaign from a couple years earlier. How fast all these passing cultural themes disappear, come and go. Number 45, the finish line. There is no finish line to be crossed, only a dotted imagined one. The victory tape is already snapped in two. I'm not even close to being the fast one across, but more like the moaning and sorry dude, laid out on a bench, writhing in pain with lactic acid cramping his legs, arms, chest, and head in a carapace of imprisoning pain. Ray C. photo snaps his agony, observed picture by picture frame. My body is chilled and buzzes again. From the Detroit Free Press Marathon Memory, October 1981, with current comment addendum. 46. The Team. The jock surgeon, Dr. Two-Man named Bill. The smart guy, Ray Hansen, and his nurse wife assistant. The straight man, Hamden, and his winsome, loosome crone assistant. They administered lethal chemo. The two sporty jocks in butch scrubs and lab coats clamped down my face in a hot plastic freak show Freddy Krueger cancer mask. Just for laughs, he bends over my nose. Or it's already bent over. Then Comic Relief walks in the room wearing tortoiseshell glasses of translucent red roundels. He has a bulb horn on his hip that he blows, honks, or tweets whenever he's asked of or answers a question. That's Dr. Herman, monster of radiation. 12-14-11, file cabinet and chemo front office mock calling card of Herman Munster with Fred Friendly's squared off head, along with a Lily Munster lookalike. Don't tell me that I don't know my business. Number 47, the day of infamy. Which one will it be, the 7th, the 9th? Byung-ah-ko, snarky time sculpture talks on the dining table, awaiting the pretensions of Mr. Rush while he takes his sweet time sauntering over here to deign to accept my accession offer. The wall clock above Stephen's chair in the kitchen nook, gray face out of place now, ticks in perfectly spaced counterpoint every other silent second to LA pop art, tick-tock, ironic, existential beats. I bought it to be hip, to be an art somebody, to know the value of undifferentiated time. With its brand new battery, once again, it is ticking, talking, laughing at, and mocking me, because it has never been cool to run out of time. Haven't you seen the monster movie? "48, why bother? This is not about bravery or cowardice or about fighting cancer. Cancer wins, so why bother? At some point you are forced by circumstance to give in. It feels like right now I have no doubts about what's next. Cancer just pinned me like Michael Makoviak in 9th grade gym. I look up at his blue eyes, felt the force of his maleness. Fight back, he demanded. All I thought was that I hated the meaningless game. "49, crap. Take the longest crap in the toilet at 10:30 because I don't want to do it in bed, a dirty surprise after I'm dead." Number 50, desperate. I am desperate to control all the little things because I cannot control the one big thing. If I finally tidy up my own little life, will I allow myself finally to just lay down and die? 51, why? Just one bout so far of existential terror. Not why me, not even why. It's too late to care about such things, the affairs of those who still think they're not just about to die. I only have when, how painful, or how strange, but not why. Number 52, make a wish. Like a near-dead kid in a candy shop, I'm getting everything I impulsively ever want right now, except for one thing, which is to not get this. Go ahead, make a wish. It's never satisfying to always get what you want. There's got to be some give and take. Life is given and now it's taking it all away. Away, away, away. Go ahead, make my day. "53, Moondog. Lori Bauer comes banging on the front door at a too late hour, enthused about a giant ringed ice halo around the nearly full moon. We learned about these at the U.S. Power Squadron. Was it full already, or a day too soon? Stephen is worried about being seen in his loose-legged underpants. It ain't a gold G-string, and everyone has been directed to look up, not down there. Josie calls out good night again from the front porch. Her spangles of Christmas lights on trees and shrubs are varied, enchanting fantasy shapes. Later at 3 a.m., snow has already fallen on the way to St. Lawrence. Upon the dark and empty, lonesome streets, beneath the silent rolling tires, upon the plow-cleared, hard, black surfaces, the surgery awaits. 54. Decorated grave with the web of life. Plant Coreopsis lanceolata, ragged-edged sun disk, with stiffened spear spades running beneath the lawnmower blade. Plat a shrub border of New Jersey tea whose delicate clusters of white attract bees. Mix in with this a riotous mess of rare orange-hued tuberosa asclepias. Let pale blue lupinus perennis take chances amongst the aggressive, lance-bladed competitives. Coreopsis palmata I truly adore. Cast down the seed heads of Schizocarium scoparium, and sit on the plinth cut from nature green granite, out in the sunshine. Watch butterflies riot. Goldfinches come and grab seed on the sly. Take ease and delight with your wondering eyes. "55. Cancer Centers of America. First it was the television ads, then the dreaming of the dream. Cancer Centers of America. They'll take good care of you, the come-on seems to say. What is the real one, I wonder, as I stare fascinated by the bulging banisters' balustrades. Looks like gray Italian marble from down here, but really another plasticized facade. Everything is soft focus, hopeful diets, hugs, and handholds. We're going to take good care of you folks, just you wait and see. We won't say cure, but we will allow you to believe. There's money riding on the bet. Consumer health care, cheating death, uncaring hospital behemoths, grind their gears, your bones. You're doing fine." Number 55. Did you have a good time? Sly and his long-ago family stone grooved to the beat of that gimlet-eyed impresario, the block Ed himself of the Ed Sullivan Show. Nixon himself as a carnival barker, flogging youthful exuberance to Lawrence Welk's best generation button-down squares. Another nostalgic PBS fundraiser. Ride, Sally, Ride comes immediately to mind every time I think of Encounter, the local folk trio version in Sally Potter. What is it about letting go's grand illusion that makes you feel so free? Dinner last night, chicken marbella, my favorite easy, elegant meal. Jane's a sweet woman with her own Steve ordeals. Now they're mine to bear with zeal. She, Stephen, and Rose Warren laugh, drink, and swear. I say the word fuck to prove I don't really care about any of it. And I don't. And I don't, finally, for a moment's reprieve, just for me. Tomorrow is lunch here again with Leo, Jeff, Beth, and Josephine. How sweet they're coming up, really, just to see me once again. And Saturday night is dinner out at Mediterranean with Jim and Sergey, our hard-working friends. I let Kathleen beg off of Sunday because she's had some other plans, and besides, Steve and Brian are right there at hand with their homemade foods and gosh darn barns. "Did you have a great weekend?" asked the Grim Reaper, swinging a scythe in his brittle right hand. "I've never liked hoodies," I blithely replied, "and yours doesn't fit your bony outsides." He pointed articulate joints at my face and said, "Watch what you say to me, arrogant mouse." I laughed again, sort of, and said, "You're too street." Skull eyes stared blackly, glaring at me. "You knows I mean business," the specter warned. "Define all you want to, but you'll lay down flat too when I cut you in half." "56. What comes next?" I lay in bed, watchful, wondering, what comes next? Hit in the face by brickbats, cold, killing North Channel, angry brown water, one drowning wave right after another. Rub-a-dub smashed on a boulder I missed. No, blame Canada this time, too, for it, with their pencil spar buoy suggestions that only can bob up and down underwater. Washed up ashore, atop whales-back granites, the Bell Mountains beyond, ring out what once was this planet, billion-year quartzes, crushed to decorative gravel. My perfect storm, the helmsman's nightmare. I've survived that one several times over. I know what it's like to imagine I'm drowning, now and then, off Blind River, Ontario. The full moon casts bare-limbed shadows on the backyard's hard snows that lay on the ground, thin, sublimated, already evaporating. Number 57, I'll be sick of myself. I'll be sick of hearing all this shit from myself very soon, so if I endeavor to quick take it all in, I'm no fucking saint. It will pop up again. The newspaper carrier's car just rolled by. They'll toss the crap journal right near the door. I've stopped having to mount expeditions, annoyed. Lately, I worry I'm missing my Zori. Yes, I do try to read that empty newspaper. The most interesting page which remains is the obits. 58 crickets. Lay in bed and back up again for the usuals this time of night. Bored, restless, pillows too hard, hard-ass duck's feathers this time, perhaps. Write some more self-delusional brilliances. Feed the ego. It's like some goddamn tumors. Nice note from Jim Jameson about remembering hospice. I assure him we'll do it, but not for the doping. I intend to go out in a flash of holy blue light. Okay, it's supposed to be white. Like the accomplished Tibetan, I already am. Wholly ready. Out off the couch and the obstacle course of the kitchen and its bothersome stool, scratch out a list of nothing to-dos for the morning. Compulsively stop at my computer god portal. Reassure Jim, piss, back in the bedroom. Lay down on my side, the same grave plot arrangement. Feel up old Steve in his tender, soft places. Hope that he giggles. Get up for the latest MR conveyance. I'd rather hang low servicing Stephen. Number 59, Electronica MRI machine. I want that boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. I want that boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. I want that hip hop, up, down, in, out, whirl. I want that up, down, top, bottom, up, twirl. I want that radio frequency isolation booth with nipple piercing left intact. And PA's tongue barbels, lab breaths, and tainted geishes, indicating hot, vibrating love embraces. I want that skinny boy on top of me, squeezed together, intimacy, 2 ripe oranges in a juicer, will be 2 sweet semen goosers. Want 2 firm, 2 steaks in that high-tech machine, rolling round in the electronic heat. So everyone's wonders what's to eat as they wander past in front of their screens. I want to be on display for all to see, like rotisserie chickens in a cheap cafe, or the blue plate special for today in that high-tech electronic automat machine. Want that boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. I want that boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. Want that boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. I want that boy, girl, top of me. Number 60, Grand Ledge Street Scenes, 1972-2010, Bill Blanchard. I'm titrating my breakfast intake, but feel like a superstar today. 10 pounds down, but not to stay. Monday is just 2 days away. I'm warned that chemo makes you nauseated. I'll find out soon, so I'm incautious, but to some lesser extent than my usual obnoxious. Sawyer's hometown artists hang their stuff on the walls. Grand Ledge Street Scenes, 2010 and 1972. Olds four-door sedan, tasty freeze, boarded up pump house, dirty snow melting on sidewalks and street. 30 years later, a midsummer scene skillfully crafted in acrylic paints. Pump house is gone, the opera renewed, the lickety-split is open for June business. Some GMC truck rolls east on the bridge, shop rat townscape in mid-Michigan. The old times are gone, they always are, but the music's still swinging. I've seen 30 years of it, and I see what is coming. 61, Spider Mind. The spider dropped down within my closed-in head and deposited her eggs in her smooth-edged nest. Then came shortly after the vile incubations, evil multiform minions crawled out from their misery, from their nursery. They nibbled and scurried amongst cerebral grapes and declared to themselves, what a terrible waste. Yes, not eating a mind such as this is a terribly wasted opportunity missed. 62, Kava Kava Man. Kava Kava Man sits upon his knick-knack shelf, forlorn and forgotten by all. I first learned of Kava Kava Man through A Green History of the World by Clive Ponting, back in 1981 or so. We then visited Rapa Nui in person, January of '94, to witness awesome stone heads for ourselves and to witness their own witnessing and walking scoria-pocked selves. The whites of their eyes, some form of marine shell, lay broken on the ground after their hard crash and fall. Their eyes can see neither forward nor back at their once golden future or upon hopes for revival, of which none at all. Why doesn't anyone clone and replant that noteworthy palm? Kevin Costner sure blew it with another bad film. Instead, Kava Kava Man will rule us all, he with sharp exposed ribs, bulging hungry eyes, collapsed stomach, painful joints, and the pitiful pleading stare of the starved and downfallen. We die individually, collectively as well, and our looming ugly fate is to die once for all. Kava Kava Man, bare-boned God, has arrived to devour the last egg of all, cooked to perfection by warming the globe. '63. I got it. Why don't you just go join Louise? My father bitterly muttered under his angry, frustrated breath finally. Exasperated by my mother's ceaseless nagging over his serial philandering, all of the shit air sucked out of the small half bath of the modest front hall, the one with the fine flowered print on spring yellow grounds. My mother had some tastes, from colonial to avocado. How could he dare to say such a thing, I wondered to myself, the unhappy chronic witness in my short teen lifetime of endless such recriminations, including broken porcelain chickens. Why don't you just go join Louise? She died age 66 in 1953, 5 years prior to my misconception. Why don't you just go join Victor instead, the short little bathtub gin-making fucker who went to the grave at age 42, somewhere around 1943-44, middle of the war. No one ever said much about them, and I never knew them either. Gone before me and gone pretty young. For me, that's the death sentence my mother passed on with her own little stroke of bad luck at 76. Now that I know the full implications, historical indifference to family health histories, it suddenly all has been cleared up for me. I'll join Victor, Louise, and the rest of the early dead because I have the Pollock brain cancer just like them. Number 64. The 400 Blows. The 400 blows, or is it to be 10,000? Francois Truffaut worked his little punk self through his list of travails and came out alive, raising a cinematic fist on repose. I too defy death and rapid destruction of my body and of my self-tormented intellect, but for what? Just to say that I have a will and a way to survive. I stood up against my own 400 blows at 17 years old, and I now know the full value of that, and where on life's spectrum I've truly been sat. Number 65, planning my funeral. Although I've long been an internal spiritual designer, I've never before planned my own funeral. There will be dancers swaying in various forms of clowns and acrobatic death defiers in all familiar awkward poses. Food will be served to nourish the living, and as a reminder that hunger is their abiding need, living necessarily within this world. 2,000 books decided and given, 2,000 minor deleted decisions. My hand is buzzing more now, forsooth, demanding of me the obvious truth. You will be able so little longer. Number 66. Am I missing something? Rolling around in bed again, imagining myself strapped to the aluminum frame of a Pearl River mute rail. Employed as someone's radiation spit inside my restless brain, I worry about tomorrow again. When does the call come in instructing me when to come in, allow myself to be strapped into the face mask of horror? For 20 must-be endured minutes upon a discomforting to think of radiation spit, then forced by circumstance to swallow Temodar, the only approved one-size therapy routine, while promises of magic diets bubble up in thoughts of antioxidantal deep green tea. Am I missing something once again? That last poem did not turn out as planned. I waited too long to write it out and thought the moment of the lost, and lost the moment of the thought. So much to do yet, so much cleaned out when I finally do get this ended life all tidied up. Perhaps then shall finally allow myself to actually live it right. 67, let it be known. Let this stand for the record. Let's make it official. I want the whole world to know. I achieved a time of 97 seconds on that fool's game Minesweeper. All that time wasted for 15 more seconds. A dream. A mishmash dream. 68, center point. Tick-tock, center point, center of the bed. Floating off the mattress 6 inches overhead. A square black pivot centered on that black Pearl River lightweight aluminum cradle balance practice mute. I tick-tock, float, smoothly, gently roll with the restlessness and fever dreaming balanced on the other side is Stephen in the cradle, discomforted by throbbing legs in between imposed travails. From me again, trying not to cause him pain, I gently roll and toss the same, a feathered, balanced dreidel. That was a out-of-body experience in a bed. Number 69, Memoriam. Denkmal, monument to contemplate the sin of being alive, bound for ignominious but certain death. Something iconic, messy, dirty, modern, pulling irony by a snarky Gerhard Richter. Ha ha ha, du hast getot, mein eine kleine Liebchen, early. Sturm und Drang, drag and pull, drama on a Berlin set along the dirty Spree, all Osties choke on irony, piles of corpses set men free, ask at Dachau, Yad Vashem, ask it at my monument. Dream, a pile of black painted flesh, steel corpses in a mangled bunch with a rose-wet red wall behind it on a swiveling post near a canal in Berlin. This is a synthesized melange of Sturm und Drang, the movies Raspberry Reich and Prinzenshöhe, modern German painter Gerhard Richter, Weimar Republic escapist irony, and post-Great War exhaustion trauma. Berlin itself, isolated and divided, and our actual visit to the city in 2004. My snobbish German pretensions, the blocky Holocaust Memorial, the Gay Memorial, sculptures at Yad Vashem and Dachau et alia, all stirred together. Book by Cornelius Ryan about the fall of Berlin, the contrast between this West Berlin leafy paradise and the grimly determined and socialist East, with Marx and Engels promising to the proletariat what lies beyond the concrete barbed wire and machine gun towers. Even 1956 book Kleine Peter and War and Peace and Question 28, Catholic propaganda movie from my childhood. I cannot get enough of Germany, apparently. Number 70, Sacred Bridge. Now that I've crossed the sacred stone bridge several times in dreams at night, I've come to see its relevance to those who worship their ancestors here. This is not my culture. Why should some broad river in Vietnam welcome me home? A green stone bridge of single blocks, several furlongs long, the same green-figured granite bench meant to match the home. Smooth and dark, fine-grained, graceful arches raise it up above the shallow, silted streams. Somewhere in the Mekong Delta with memories of Tonle Sap, Phnom Penh, and Tay Ninh, and that awesome looming blacking mountain, Hue Ban Den. First one bows upon the bridge, face bent near the polished marble, honoring one's ancestor encased in bamboo cricket temple. Gazing past along the causeway to a slightly larger box, this time made of folded paper. Lift your eyes beyond them both, then rise up and turn. Turn to face the upflow stream. There, a distance, stands the ruin of the old ancestral grave, mounted by a mustard-colored soapstone statue of brave Confucius with his loving wife beside him. Enthroned amongst the paltry rivulets, gaze and know and honor them. They built the bridge, the paddies trim. They gave the world stability. Offer, grateful on your knees. Then you too proceed across the green stone bridge to paradise and leave behind the cares and ruins. Hmm. 71, Bargaining with Death. I find myself negotiating perfect numbers with my death. It started long before the soon-to-come events. I wished to live 136 when I was young and foolish, until I witnessed all those souls bent over in the hallways. This dropped to 96 or so, a fairly rounded number. U.B. Blake gave up the coil when he turned 100. Further on, the tide kept ebbing. Springtime surgery had not prevented Stephen's dates from de-advancing. 6 more years had passed my fancy. That would make me 58 if then I died we'd be complete. Instead of Ironsides with me for 20 years at 73, he'd be gone at 93. That was good enough for me. But now I know the certainty that even 6 is not for me. These empty years will fill with dust instead for him that has to carry on. Still, it looks like 6 it is. You can't fix broken once you're in it. In too deep to yet recover, yet be yet still your 6-year lover. Me, I've always long believed that I'd selected widow's weeds when I'd made my choice of Paris, or over Westland, or Grand Traverse. But all those dizzy queens in streets, taverns, parties, lonely cups, never had what we'd achieved, boded love, contented peace, every moment surely worth it, on the sofa, van, or beach. 72. Upon the freshwater dune. When the wind blows and rustles the grasses upon the forward slope of your mighty dune, with the dim orange sun slipping into the gloom, denoting the far Chicago side of Lake Michigan's broadly curving rim, I am that zephyr breath of wind and nothing more or less substantial. 73. My affairs. Settle your debts once yearly to begin again as if reborn. Others insist upon the weekly plan or monthly just because a year is so long. Present-minded self-awareness only momentary lasts. So every moment begs forgiveness. Move beyond all that has passed. Move beyond or tomb your soul in quicksands of the strangling past. 74. Poem over a time mark. 11:40 p.m., 12/13/2011, Tuesday late. Feels like Friday last. Dead by 5 a.m. again. The Sick and Dying Dog, for Ogden Nash, posthumous. There was a documentary, wondrous of dogs. Lady clambered up the stairs to lick them all farewell. She lamed wet from bed to bed, kissing master, dame, and kid, then dragged, defeated, down the stairs, to die alone, excelsiored. I part in shame to be reduced to penning morbid verses here, but novelty is still seducing, doggerel or not, I fear. I think my throat is clogged with hairs. I'm dying now, still on the stairs, while lady mated to her bedding, my poetics trip on treadings. 76. Angel's hands. Unseen angels grab my hands, tugging upward gently. At least I'm hoping that's their plan. So no one's so far pulling downwards. We're the ones who scheme and plan. Hell is us and other people. Steeples point at clouds and skies. Watch your own feet, G-damned sheeple. Their sleeves of robes do make me wary, such a flurry of cliches, but I resist, so I may tarry. Got to fight to win today. All those papers in the way of heaven's gates. So what? Delay. 77. Boys' Night Out. Square-shaped male pistons in a hot tub, dozen shrimp shumai boys cooking in the bubbles, my toys. Boiling in men's LR2, hot pot in a corner flurried, I care no more about your problem, getting in and getting dirty. Bring the bods and leave your brains, you dumb jocks, just want a woman, acting like you never worked on thoughts of other guys, to get off. Next time there I'll show my heart on, squeeze your biceps, look you head on, make you squirm with queer desire as it rises up inside you. Join me at my lips of fire, touch our pricks, you fucker liars. Rap rhythm. 78. Poem of Yesterday, dedication Mary Lease. Yesterday, a strange word, no, containing yes, but saying gone, as if one had already said yes to it, and now it's done. And now it is no more to be said yes to, disagreed with. Becomes itself a solid fact, no reworking, stacked on stacks of other yesterdays like that. Yesterday becomes today, the ever-flowing forward way. Yes to it, yes to that, yes today, yes, yes, yes. All my time spent saying yes now, no more space and time for else how. 79. Rules of thumb. Statisticians calculate the rules of thumb to ease the thought. processes of both professionals and laymen. You might have 6 more months to live if you do this and this and this. The average life expectancies of victims of Pollock genetics ranges shortly, just 3 months to 6, or maybe even 18. Optimists see long projections found in corners of their bell curves. My statistics are front-loaded. I'll be kicked out at the curve. In the skid row of the early Can't Leave My Party Friday for you, Dr. Al Nabatiti. I adore your honesty. Number 80, Fool's Errand Complete. The guardians that keep the fool themselves are fools that the guardian keeps. Sometimes as a useful tool, sometimes just in piled heaps of garden dung and fool's gold, all that glitters, steams, and stinks. Mined by beetles for their young, beetle-browed, dim-witted finks, poking through hot stinking piles, thinking it's a placer mill, of glitter pile of denials, warm and cozy, hot and stinking. The queen of fools had her heart stomped, and she knew she really oughto've. Now it pulses in the dung heaps, sinking in denial, stinking. '81, Tweakin'. Tweakin', freakin', fucked up brain, past Glendale in the rain. Rain-wet blacktop black again, can't enjoy the pothole pain. All my life must fight from drowning down denial's drain, drowning in my tears of hurting, drowning in the stupid's brain. Now it's over and forever, more denial from the queen, no more fearing guardians over her, but not for me. Now I'm free to just cross over, set my life to liberty. No more tweakin' freakin' power, denial power over me. 82, Tumors of the Brain, 4 p.m., 12/14/11. Nightstand reading materials keep reorganizing themselves according to their self-imposing plans. Ken Jennings' autistic maphead, childhood confession, paralleling my own Atlas love but without his compulsive obsessions with statistics and coincident formations, like Sweden and Lake Michigan, for just one instance, has fallen to the bottom of the sea pile of new required reading material, yet become the latest printed words, drowning like Atlantis. Astrocytoma, glioblastoma, oligodendroanaplastic glioma. From what type of cell did the tumor arise? What reawakened the impulse to grow and divide? Does thinking too much cause the curse to begin? Use your mind, but not too much, or else relive the onrushing star maps of cranial youth. A big bang again, this time without end. Astrocytes, those star point pivots of neurons and thought, constantly making connecting dots out of words and ideas, experience. They light up the mind, let you choose the right train, remember the sequence, and then on occasion betray you. Oligodendroglioma, anaplastic, grade 3, fast growing but not quite, like me. The difference, 6 months, 2 years, a road trip to Mars. Glioblastoma multiforme, stage 4 to 5, the neurodoc told me. That's literally off of the charts. I can't find stage 5 in literature anywhere. So what's all this noise about hanging around? Florida, train trips, even driving through town. Next comes the consequent nausea, chills, bleeding, fatigued, and toxified semen. Shortly I won't be re-winning this game. So go ahead, Mr. Jennings, with your autistic memoir, down to Atlantis' Davy Jones' locker. Rest there on top of half-finished brain puzzlers. My topical matters become a real teaser. Brain Tumor Center, Harvard, Glioblastoma multiforme and anaplastic gliomas, a patient guide by John W. Henson, MD, Brain Tumor Center, 1999. '83. Swallow the Temodar, Zofran. Swallow the Temodar, Zofran, on the precisely prescribed timetable. This is your holy routine. scientifically designed to maximize effect in your very favor. Lay down willingly upon the uncomfortable sliding table for you, yourself, and for Jim, irradiating forno of the high-tech head-burning pizza oven inferno. Chunk, 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 micromillimetric gearing enables pulsating photon beam flash tomotherapy seems to illuminate astrocytomal galaxical novae, all found within the celestial paradigm of my interior cranial universe, brighter and brighter and brighter again, until it all stops and withers out, thin, the irradiative, illuminating, malfeasant, cleansing tomo machine, X-raying wind, like a swirling dark wave, wood-blocked and damasked by some gossamer hokusai, has full-blown past. A gentle black, whispering, left to right, sinuous, fare thee well, Zephyrus, fatal last wave of the royal hand, wind. 84. Dead Bird 2. Like feathered creatures gather, concerned. They are self-aware of death, and wish for your sake to reverently observe and to share their small part of your imagined despair. Being as impotent against death as the true self-aware, they once more move on back to daily concerns. What's to eat? What's to fear? Where's that cat? Death is so plain to detect. Still mourn they do, for they're also alive, and feel it, and know it, and feel for the dying, flying off not mere indifference, neglect, but rather a fact. You can't defy death. Dead Bird 2. 85. Friday. Yes, Friday. 1:35 a.m., December 16th, 2011. I made it to the fourth Friday. This week, Monday was Monday, Tuesday was Friday, Wednesday was what day, Thursday was 3 days after Friday, and now Friday is Friday. Come again at last, the ultimate Friday of the week, past. Number 86, Divot. Title 11:30 p.m., 12:15:11. Will I have a divot head develop? It feels like the answer might be yes. However, I mightily doubt it. That I'll be a fellow riding the buses in San Francisco or 1980s East Lansing with a divot-faced, hatcheted, gruesome appearance, like the specter who, forborne from my own gaping, staring, sideways be horrors, everybody's caring. A countenance I stared at with its regular appearance. Got on the Muni, or dam, was it Cata? Right here in town, Arrowhead Baptist, right down Grand River with too many instruments dragged along with me. With way too much baggage, the devil can't take me. Except for a foray with an inadequate Walkman, I sat on the public #1 route with madmen, and just once my professor, Dr. Dale Bongi, who made a bad joke of a pun as usual. A smart man I respected, and some gruesome divot-headed survivor specimen who taught nothing to young me, but that I was naive, callow, unready, unknowing, just staring, like the delivery man still around town today with a plague of boils, who must yet endure my terrified gaze every single time. Do I otherwise just turn away, or look down and away? Number 87, Alone, Theoretical. No Facebook sympathy from online others, from earlier pontification by bullet point tenants. Maybe they thought I was already dead, and it's shocking to keep hearing my voice inside their own heads, and more words on their screens, embarrassing even. To them, for me, like the lover who loves, gets dressed quickly, leaves, and comes back again. Not days or weeks later, but right then borrows some money at the half-open doors, offers to fuck you again just for fairness, or knocks once again because of despair and wants prolongation of feeling together with one other human, to allay alienation and fear of unknowns that lurk outside in the dark anonymity of an urban decay that has no community and never did have anything like it, just distracting noises, dangers, attractions, garbage, strangers, rat packs and rats, revolvers and posturing, quivering mice. Emotions. Number 88. Emotions hit me lying in bed 2 hours from soaking in an underused bathtub. Afraid for 5 years now of wrecking the wallpaper, I've taken to missing the highlighted feature of the master bath suite for so long. Where I once sank in water to drown my frustrations, I suck up the heat emanating from water. Determined to beat any drug-induced illness, I again reaffirm that I wish to die lucid, then get out to type it to theoretical Buddhists online round the world. They've only stayed silent for 3 or 4 hours this time. I lay restless in bed. Was that Stephen sighing and rolling around in his own pain again? Last week he had nightmares. I think of Dan Matson and his wonderful poem, asking new questions on each little scrap, cosmic enquiries that fall in the lap like meteorite dust atop Antarctic ice caps. Imagine myself in a wood in DeWitt, quiet, abandoned, long-widowed and lonely, no solace from thinking, sharing, or feeling. Anguish now, anguish, solitude bearing down and alone. Nothing to save me, not even that tastefully green, smooth granite headstone. Alone, alone, not even theoretical, anguished, despairing, sad, and unbearable. I think of embracing someone else's young children, hoping to give them a gift of myself that won't finally be seen as yet, one more inconvenient by timing or impulse or merely uncomfortable presence. Tonight in the bath I granted myself 3 weeks, maybe 7, just maybe 12, but no 6 months. And number 89, just before that, does it show? Does it show what I know? The knowledge, half real, the other still theory? You go on this journey like a pilgrimage, gradually. Maybe the crux of the pelerinage was to arrive at San Juan and a revelation about the meaning of life, harsh and uncertain, while gazing at whales along the coast of A Coruña. Does it show? Do all know that you empty yourself until you're a specter, and then that also goes? Number 90. Frustrated by low poem count. Feel like I've written 300 of them. Now back to talismans before I forget them. One last harpsichord. Night, Vernon, stop rolling in your grave. Opus 19, Flemish 8x4, has been taken down to pitch. 4 days too soon. The unappreciative, pompous Christian fucks who dare to assume the use of your carefully crafted toy once again sing their tinny madrigals to a bunch of good old American Protestant know-nothings. Funny, but some of those young dudes with their scruffy chins and scrawny corpses would do just as well down at the bar or on the RFD ranch. But I have been remanded to silence by a bunch of annoyed and tortured jocks, the likes of which I had once hoped to evade, escape, forsake, for Neverland. Dude, no one said you could have what you wanted in life, not even one stale hope to live long enough to see those assholes from long ago die first. Revenge isn't sweet, it's just a brittle chicken bone with the marrow unattainable and too thin for any satisfaction. Yes, about that short octave, the one that catches the ignorant unawares. There was one note that was a third flat, was the snarky retort from 2 years ago. Look it up in Grove's The Bible of Music, you Bible-thumping prigs. Who's bitter? Not I, said the head-shaved guinea pig. There's a crease in the seahorse wallpaper, cheap reproduction of some overwrought burger pretension from 4 centuries ago. Now there are no centuries left to care about. The Mayans are down for the end times with only a few months left in 2012. I turn the T-wrench with my sinister hand, the one with any feeling left in it. Yesterday in a dark stone church in Olivet, it was all tritones and sour ninths, in an endless half-step digression of pitch, never matching the electronic half-truth that makes for some standard. The fingers of my right curl up in expectations of crippled uselessness, fumbling for zippers and buttons, startling me with accidental 6/3 second position chords, a phantom, unplanned, unwanted continual. Better to die with Knight Vernon's version of a Flemish 8x4 transposing single than some abandoned, pathetic Zuckerman. Let my hands fall where they may, I play the toccata of my craft across the eboned keys. The sound of my life dies away in some faint tones of satisfaction in the stale air of empty churches. Pari-nirvana. I've exhausted the possibilities of my own nostalgia. I've given up sustaining the idea of eternal life through Persian carpets and stacks of unread books. I can no longer believe in tomorrow. The obituary pages have lost their charm. My articles of possession, a gold and platinum ring around my finger, and a gold barbell piercing my nipple. The Prince Albert through my glands was not abandoned, just impractical. Latter-day victim of an 8th grade gay bashing. Number 91, November 23rd, 2011. I shift clipped papers from obscured number 12, November the 30th, 2011. That's my day in Dallas with my blown back skull. Jackie is frantic to patch it back well. My mind, motorcycle's backfired engine, roared with astonished and shocking confession of glioblastoma. Jesus H. Christ, I'll be in a coma. Stephen, he knew, and I knew in reflection, his select appraisal at home in his den was the note of conviction. The doctor can't mask himself off out of this one. Tomorrow the surgeon will cut out the tumor and reveal it to no one, especially me. He leaves me that for others and flies off for his skiing somewhere near Denver. 92. A homosexual in the form of a man. So here at last culminates my wondrous journey of the self. A homosexual in the form of a man. My determination to outlive long past indifferent tormentors, imagined successes who fit in the middle, dull, pudgy, aggressive, rustic, stupid, ordinarily unadmirable over the next several days will appear the truth of my life, its apparent worth. There all along in intention and action, it always was more than passing distraction. It was what I was, as is what I am, a homosexual self in the form of a man. I would not be any other thing, having striven to live it with truth, forthrightly, honesty, open and generously sharing my factual truth with sincerity. This is the truth without glass of denials. This is my knowledge, I share it, smiling. I'll strive to embody the bodhisattva vows, but only the ones that don't contradict me. We're all slightly different, and one size fits all is nonconformist, non-victory. So finally, at last, I've been freed, not from delusion, but from fear-driven greed. Greed to become some kind of better, because stupid people can never see worthiness emanate elsewhere they don't understand. I've become my deal, and the whole world's too. And a Holy Spirit of self, a homosexual, a two-spirit gay human, a homosexual truth in the form of a man. Number 93, relaxed. Thwarted and becalmed, accepting of the next still uncertain round, relaxed. What happens tomorrow will happen to me, and when it arrives and the previous wave rolls on to the past, I'll still be waiting, alert and relaxed. I'll be relaxed and accepting of air, and if I gulp pain, I will not despair. I know what the finality promises, freedom and peace. No more waves, no more dramas. Number 94, you are going to die. You are going to die. You are going, gone. When you give away all the things that you love with determination and speed. But when it comes down to the petty things, the ones that go straight to the bags, sit on the floor of the dirty garage, soon for the curb and the street, and the shelves have been cleared of all the dross that you scurried to hoard and to keep, that's when it hits you, oncoming new blows that finally weaken your knees. You are really going to die by one little death at a time, with a trash bag filled with ephemera and the shelves that stand empty, unneeded. 95, down, down, down. Down, 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 down the fucking drain. 2 weeks promised robust health transformed into 2 short days. Down, down, down with the temodar, down to a new fatigued me. Ungrounded fever and listing reels, down soon upon my 2 knees. Why does that image keep reappearing, cutting me down by half? Everyone else offers rosy scenarios and secretly find me a drab. But I fear the worst and anticipate onset. I pride myself, certain realism. So even though shocking after 400 blows, the cold, dirty water is working. Number 96, fork in the road. 2.5 hours to compose an email, request of a stranger in the hope of making prior arrangements. For an oversized tuning fork, which said objet d'art intends to be set upon a red plinth in front of a building haunted by me, in turn by it. After hiatus, scent of mold and faint ringing down halls induce in me sad reminiscences. All of that's because a burrowed hole it was for the me that was, wounded and feckless. But a mind with a will and opened eyes found the alternate way to hit home runs, way past the fences. No one much noticed the ghost called the tuner, annoyingly present in pulses, pulsations in air, tempos of time, beginnings and breaks, each semesters. But the organologist asserted that there's no real music of any true worth, not pulsing a wave through the ether. To sound on the drum, the anvil and stirrup, the cochlear window and current, astrocytosal interior universe, alight with delightful felicitousness. There in that moment for all, and Beethoven, music engages the senses. From theory in mind to fork in hand, to finger in key, and wrench on pin, strings in alignment with harmonious assignment, do thus command music, begin. Number 97, down to business. Down at last to business. The dining glass table again reveals its Persian carpet below 4 chrome squares and 24 chair points. Things, here, books, come in from another room, then leave by the door, with Brian Rosewarne this time. Many plank of fine hardwoods have found a new home with him, and the U of M Stearns has had its organological status enhanced. Yes, I am a good gay man. My right hand still buzzes, a vicious and paralyzing reminder of something to remain, never recovered. At lunch, David Wellicke and 2-month lover Greg host us for salads and Toll House cookies. Until we meet again. I offer a Romanian acrylic painting to Larry Ackerman, who loves it. It is a thank you and fellowship to a fellow poet. I command him to write a poem upon it. He offers a haiku of his just for Stephen, laminated. 2 prints for Leo and Josephine await gifting in our sitting area. One is a lion from Grandpa Tom, the other a blue night scene, with 1 warm spot of yellow for complement and contrast. It's not Thomas Kincaid by a long shot. A life compacted down to 3 weeks is a hell of a job, but far better than instant demise. You are not allowed to say goodbye. You are allowed to say goodbye to your dreams, fears, and your fantasies, to sloth and indecision, procrastination, self-derision. You maybe start to fly. So what was today? Effective, cleansing. At lunch, my left hand became cramping, involuntary. I am playing beat the clock just for enough time to say goodbye, hold Stephen, pack books. Not quite good enough, but so very responsible. Death made me grow up. Just these last few short steps. So now may I relax, early even, lie in bed until 9 p.m., breezing through another poem, not tweaking on steroid decadron, not facing humiliation prior to oblivion, not worrying about the rest of the night, tomorrow morning, or anything. Finally, after the week of Friday, I receive a small reprieve, the week of Fridays. But not from that governor, for sure. Right hand buzzing worse than ever. Is it healing, Joe? Portent of what's coming in the end. So I've tried and shall still fail yet. Sobbed for myself at dinner, then continued to eat. Food for the nearly dead. Yes, this is what reprieve and people feel like today. Drive to Ann Arbor for Hanukkah brunch. Latkes, latkes, latkes. Suf ganiot. And pray. Pray? Pray for what? That I might live long enough to have had my final say? Number 98, clang tone. I am supposed to be in bed, asleep and relieved, de-fatigued, but if I don't right now, it will evaporate. Another astrocytosal flash in the ethereal galaxies contained still whole within my head, like the brief but engaging clang tone from the tuning fork's harmonic vibrational forces. I disappear nowadays, merely in moments. Diamond the tines angles one to the other. Physics and logical thought have their own rigid dogmas. I tap for the sounds of sure resonance, the shortcut to truth. The ear listens well, trained by self-discipline and sculpted by long practiced skills to define the most sublime distinctions of all. That, then, was lost to the ethers from hell, a hollowing out that shattered the spell of my own self-mesmerizing clang tone. Paper lute Buddha fingers. Number 99, paper Chinese lute. Just out the door and already I'm longing for my now all-forsaken multiplicitous ideas. Make musical instruments out of paper. One simple idea can only be Googled now, and the Android cell phone insists on updating itself once again on some fool's app. that is, application. Once again, how convenient and also disruptive. I go to the browser, rebookmark Chad White by Greg Vaughn, soon a dead link. Don't worship the internet. It deletes your God boy over and over. It wants to remain an unending game of product and come on and targeted marketing. Chad White for 10 months and I constantly fight just to catch a brief glimpse of the God in my Android in his black denim pants just one more time. So hot. And now Chinese lute or pipa. Not correct. The neck is too long and the body is stretched out like the shape of a pear. Round with short fretted neck. Ru-an, 2 round sound holes, 4 tapered pegs, and a rosewood lacquered neck. Ru-an for now will have to do. That's the make-your-own lute out of papier-mâché portrayed on the cover of the book, tossed, no, given. Tossed, given away, the idea and possibility gone now forever with regrets. I should have kept that one and given it to Leto. Pay more attention to that voice of enchantment that whispers the truth while you supersede it with your own misconceptions. Make musical instruments out of paper crafts, indeed. Number 100, Buddha Fingers. My left hand cramps up at noontime dinner at David Welleke's into Buddha's curving fingers. That's no corny pun, but some fruit variation found in South Asia of slendered lemons. Fragrant and sour, I keep wondering. Bitterly sweet, beautifully yellow, a compliment to marigolds and flame of the forest trees. But signs of the left hand of spreading disease do not reassure the future for me. No, not at all. Both hands are roughed up, hang-nailed, bleeding from increasing lack of sensory recall. My dick hangs out and I'm not aware of it. My asshole I'm wiping increasingly raw. Number 101, alternate spellings. Is this the official date? No, that would be December 20th. The Hanukkah brunch falls on Sunday, for the convenience once. New with the Ashkenazim and their alternate spellings. They're called by others the people of the book. Apparently it wasn't a dictionary. I settled on standardized Hanukkah, Hanukkah, but who's decided what's standard? There'll be an argument about that until kingdom come. Me, I always assert, I come for the food. I know what's important, and it isn't the word. Number 102, sweet grass. Soon I shall lay down in sweet grasses with its enchanting scent of new mown haze. Jim knew where to find some and offered to bring it at home to me, even in midwinter. Bless him. Bless Stephen too, soon sneezing beside me. He'll have to give in, but I do, and move it away instead. Sweet, sweet grasses of life, we cannot eat you, but your heavenly scent reminds us we're living, content, and alive. Still alive and content. Number 102, sweet grass. Soon I shall lay down in sweet grasses with its enchanting scent of new mown haze. Jim knew where to find some and offered to bring it at home to me, even in midwinter. Bless him. Bless Stephen too, soon sneezing beside me. He'll have to give in, but I do, and move it away instead. Sweet, sweet grasses of life, we cannot eat you, but your heavenly scent reminds us we're living. December 18th, 2011, 1:25 a.m. If I didn't get up, this would have been lost by 7 a.m. Number 103, clearing out my shop, clearing out my life. Stays goes. Wait a moment here. Everything has got to go. Everything has got to go? Everything not begged for trash, and everything will be trash if you don't act faster than a fucking fast-acting end-stage glioblastoma. Just make it so. Progression through submission, one batch at a time. Harmonium's easy because I don't care. Table saw, get out of here. No, you'll be getting out of here. Take the prints and photos home, the porno stash too, geez. Easy things, surely breezy. Fucking St. Vincent's burns down last night to top off my unease. What kind of portent is that? One something goes up in Rio Town, another burns to the ground. Don't believe in any forever, because it surely ain't happening right around here. Number 104, the ultimate. The ultimate goal I'm driving for has now clarified itself to me, and it is true as well. For Stephen, he will live a more simplified life in a neat, orderly home, free of my messy accumulations. I will be present, sanctified with reminders of my sacred spirit. He must content himself with it, a bulwark to shield the inevitable, unenviable loneliness. Number 105, all things must go. All things must go, all things must pass, chuckled the gnomes to George Harrison, sat in his chair, chewing a grass. Number 116, dropped calls. One last chance. From me, a merest olive branch. For them, opportunity of graceful redress. This is my last, my very last conciliatory act. The very last. My folly, really, acted out of my own sense of compassion and shared humanity. One last chance for these others to step beyond their self-enfeebling boundaries. Fat chance. Now that I know for certain and without further misplaced hope, I am finally, awfully freed at last. Chains of a misplaced sense of obligation to a woman named Mother, who mothered with stupidity and neglect, are not worth maintaining at any cost now, at the cost of my precious remaining life, with the cost of my actual death. We are two different souls, in fact, left in a small wicker clothespin basket up on the back porch step. The stork of casual curses took off, indifferent, with just two short, strong flaps, and so doing thus had left me in the hands of the never-born minds, the unwitted clutch of the cuckoo, to be fletched by the stillborn incurious dead. But I, clever cowbird, finally realized that I could not be, truly be, while enmeshed, neglected, ignored, and starving within the cuckoo's nest. So I flew to a new roost, the one with a view of the glorious sunrises, the stars, the sea, and the very best of the human mind, which then opened glorious for me. No more, at last a rest. The cuckoo call fades far away in its thick forest with confusion and its self-generated idiocies. My life force, so precious, condensed to so little time, is meant now for my gifts to be given away and dispensed to all fortunate others like myself, who can truly, truly see. Ray, with his peanut brain and tarnished sword of an inauthentic cavalier, wards me away from his petty domain and a mother he guards so determinedly. A domain which protects and preserves Mother, as if impecced and conserved, that fantasy-addled, infantilized, coddled, denied queen. Poor fucking Mother. He is right there, she's his, and along with his wife, my stupid brother, Suzanne, Bill, inadequate strivers, they wallow together at the sty of the garbage till. What better choice for such a man than tap dancing bullshit in front of stage fights, with an insincere grin, as in all things, and the safe little props of Tool, Tap Cane, and Boater. The show will go on for the feckless phonies, but not so much for me much longer. Not so for me much longer. I will still die with my well-crafted compassion, honor, and integrity, even with eyes wide open, laying in a dirty ditch with the cuckoos clucking upon nearby branches and torn pants, shit stained by death. I die with my honor, integrity, and service to humanity complete, full, and intact. And so it must then be asked, how so is that? By one last, final act, with one last acting out of the lifelong folly that is, now was, the now ended cuckoo family drama, ended at last. My heart has collapsed. That is not the pulse of contentment, but rather one of exhaustion. It pounded out its staggering thud, thud, thud. None. You are done with them, or be simply done. I am done with it. Done. My remaining time is to be well spent living among the compassionate hearts, among the intelligent. That is my true home, not the cuckoo's nest. Finally freed to yet near full self-acknowledgement. Tomorrow then, back to my critical tasks, lest my real heart cannot from this last. Still, I've with sufficiency covered my own tracks, by all tests, away from the heart follies of the cuckoo's nest. Number 117, Dead Beats. Top, 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 my dampered heart seems nigh to stop. Dr. Stephen takes my hand, reassures himself by pulses I don't feel within my chest. Only top, top, top pervades my senses. Worried that I've done me wrong, once again adjust my sights. Surely as rogue waves at sea jettison the flotsam lees. Toff, 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 fumble for a stethoscope. Mistrust device so common since 4th grade. When Jeff Burnett's doctor father stuck its cold buds in my ears. Toff, 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 toff. Listening to Jeffrey's chest, shirt raised to his child nipples, I heard nothing, not a beat. Am I deaf? Is he heart crippled? Top, 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 top. Like a faucet not quite stopped by its mangled, torn gasket. Cranked too hard by stupid man hands. To the living room I scoot, bouncing down the darkened rooms, wondering when my balance ends. My last walk was Sunday morning. Top, 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 top. After 43 more years, desperate to run the clock out, stick the stethoscopic buds in my ears, decide to trust it. Top, 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 top. There's the beat the doctor felt, holding lightly at my wrist. Doesn't make me jump and shout, reassures that I might live another week until glioma eats into my cardiac nerve, leaving me in senseless coma, dying without saying words. "118, take Lana for a walk." Dick Bauer comes over, knocks, doesn't ring. With a brick of Lori's leftover lasagna, remnant of Saturday's holiday homecoming. Yummy, I think, since her bean soup surprised us. Very delicious, complex, and worthwhile. Here is my luck, one bit at a time, sampling food from a 100-foot kitchen, the street borderline now broken. I went for a walk, the first one in 2 weeks. I say to Dick, who's surprised, "You're such a regular exercise freak. Take Lana with you sometime." Lana, the cockapoo, curly and nervous, finally sat in my lap sometime this summer. I miss such affection even with doggy-doo lips. So one more farewell to Heron Creek, to that far-fading familiar mile. Maybe I'll take that old dog for a trot for me, for her, for the smile. I've only got left a short while. Number 119, at ease at last. At ease at last, at rest. Upon the brown couch my thoughts have set. I did the right thing twice over again and now await the next wave to not swallow. No more fool's errands, no more denial, no more enraging frustration. My body fatigue is really relief at the moral resolutions. Now tomorrow is already here at matins and 3 hours later with all of the next necessary things. Number 120, the banality of it all. Third time is charmed, we're already down to routine. Knees up for bolstering, rubber band around the feet, hot spa weight hospital blanket to keep me still more than warm. Have to ask for Jim Whipple's ovoid blue halo thingy for my hands. It's not round so it fits around his horns, it's been said now every day. Jim was away on Friday, replaced by some woman. I told her she was prettier, but don't let Jim know it because he's a little vain. Stephen remembers him from 25 years ago working at St. Lawrence Hospital. And unbelievably, I do too. He's that distinctive a personality. So today, my third day, Monday that felt like Wednesday, the routine is set and easy. Jim takes off and Scott, the face mask fitter, steps right up, but not before Jim tugs my spine to the right again. Do I have scoliosis? Then 1, 2, 3, snap, 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 snap. The Freddy Krueger personal plastic mesh hockey mask bolts my head to the table. I can handle this and did from the start. I want to be awake this time for the phototomo-induced astrocytosal intercranial supernoval pangalactic lightning show. Chunka, 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 click, 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 click. I can't wait for the visual kick. Positive proof that a slick machine is blasting my head with the maximum rays of photo radiation. And what for, I ask? We all know how this will already be turning out. Despair. Don't care. The banality of the inevitable washes over myself beneath the scrim of the cheap, weird mask of professional horror and its pockmarked views of the happy nature panel scenes, unilluminated at 4:15 to keep the room nice and dark and calm. Everybody wants to go home from this particular routine. The text to dinner, me from the unwanted dream. Sometime instead of raising the table and snapping off the mask, for me it will be lowered. Down, down, down. Click, click, click. Lights off. See you later. The banality of it all. Number 121. I did it to myself and there's no one else to blame for it. Continued in the next journal. December 19, 2011, 10:55 p.m. End of Meningioma Journal 1.